Good afternoon. I'm very pleased to facilitate this IEEE Humanitarian Technologies Board Best Practice Workshop this afternoon as part of IEEE ISTIS 2023 in Swansea. So my name is Miriam Cunningham. I'm a member of IEEE Humanitarian Technologies Board, and this year I'm the chair of the Ad Hoc Committee on Site Best Practices. So we've just finished the HTB keynote address, which provided insight into activities that IEEE is supporting in the ICT for Development humanitarian technology sphere, the mission of HTB, the key strategic areas that it works in, and different mechanisms to provide support to IEEE members and volunteers who are interested in undertaking humanitarian technology activities. And now our third case study comes from the UK and Ireland section site, and Eduardo is going to share insights into a programme that was done supporting a nursery to support autistic children that was undertaken in August 2021. Thank you very much. Interactions Site project, which was successfully completed by the UK and Ireland SSIT group in August 2021. Thank you very much. Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for the introduction and for the opportunity to be here sharing our project insights and results. So let's start. So what is this project about? So we have created an inclusive multi-sensory space which encourages social interaction for children with special needs, specifically for autistic kids. So the project gives children the opportunity to influence and interact with other children through movement, exploration, and collaboration, and all this is done in a safe and educational environment. So what makes this project special, and I would say unique perhaps, is not just the technology involved, but the apps. So this company working for us, they have developed over 200 apps, especially designed for autistic kids. So these applications can be programmed according to children needs and curriculum expectations. So basically what happened, we have a fixed ceiling equipment that projects onto a floor or a table. And there is one master control, remote control used to choose the app. And then the children interaction on the floor or the table is through motion, through movement. You can see also that sometimes a table can be used when you have a child in a wheelchair. So the target community. So we used a study here in the UK that is national-wide that tell us the index of deprivation, and we found.
Very much.
Sorry, Miriam, I think you are. You need to mute. Yeah. So we found that this study recorded Yarwick as the most deprived neighborhood in England. And it happens to be in a county called Essex. So this project is addressing the lack of sensory occupational therapy and very limited speech and language therapy in this county, Essex, and it is of course an unserved community. So then the institution that we have chosen is Stepping Stones Play and Learn Group. This is a charity with more than 25 years of history. And this charity offers an integrated nursery for children with special needs and also mainstreamers aged 2 to 5. And also they offer an after school club and holiday club and also Saturday sessions for older children with special needs as well. So we approached this institution and they were very glad, very happy with the proposal, and they accepted, to host our project. And since then, our relationship, have been fantastic with them. So we have the idea, we have the community, and we have the institution. So what was remaining at that point is the technology. So we needed to choose the technology. So what we did, we carried out a benchmarking. So we assessed a number of companies that they have a commercial, option in the market, and we assessed advantages and disadvantages. And mainly we found that mainly all the available options, commercial options, they were more like recreational options or more for leisure than for education. And that's why the disadvantage column mainly is telling us that they don't have SEN applications. SEN stands for special educational needs. Okay, so we did this for a number of companies, and finally we found this OM Interactive, and we were very, very glad that this one um, provides, this autistic path called Autism Suite with over 200 apps, as I mentioned before, and also is based in the UK. They offer on-site support. They have a number of awards received if you check their webpage. So we selected OM Interactive and immediately approached them, and we arranged demo, so a demonstration on Stepping Stones premises, so we can invite all the community and have a go. So we did this on 13th of August, 2019. So we have this consultation, and we invited parents and carers with their children, and we did this on a long period of the day, so parents can come and go. And we just tried the equipment, was mainly having fun, to be honest, at that point. But most importantly, taking advantage that parents were there, we gave them a questionnaire so we can have a formal feedback from them. So basically, we asked a lot of things, but key 3 questions were: is there any similar tool available in our local community? Is there a need for sensory input and communication with your child? If this equipment was available, would you use it? And we received a very positive feedback. 100% of the surveys stated that there is no similar tool available. And also 100% of the surveys confirmed they are keen to have access to this technology. Most importantly, we received input that was very the situation for this community is not easy, as can happen, in so many places around the world. So they said that when they have a child that is showing autistic features, the NHS, that is the National Health System for those that are not familiarized with the UK, so it's our health system, public system, they will assess a child when they turn 3, when they are 3 years old, not earlier. But the situation is that when the process starts after they turn 3, they need to be in a long queue, and sometimes can pass like 2 or 3 more years until they receive a diagnostic. And this is a shame because they are wasting the early intervention, that is when the child is very young, to improve a lot this condition. So basically, they were very happy to have something that can fill some gaps in this community, that can help with the OT, that is occupational therapy, and also the speech and language therapy through this technology. So finally, we just adjust our last numbers and for our proposal. Well, to be honest, this is the budget approved. However, we were thinking bigger initially. We applied for almost the whole money that at that moment site was offering. I think I know things changed, but in 2019 you can receive up to almost 20K. Now it's different. So we had a very ambitious project at that moment, with the option for replicating and escalating the project, but then we received the feedback, and we were told to decrease the scope, and finally the project was approved with this 9,800, almost 10K $10,000 project. So it's very important that you will address at least one UN Sustainable Development Goal. So on this project, we are addressing two goals. Number 4, quality education, and goal 10, reduce inequalities. And the project objectives I put originally, because then some of these projects changed. You will know reasons why. But basically, the objective set was to develop a sense of security, levels of engagement, positive relationships. I'm talking more in general aspects. Then you will see how this was measured. Develop awareness of the world around them, physical skills, express their feelings, communicate with other people, experience a life within the community, communication skills in speech, gesture, and sign, so they can interact with others, take responsibility for themselves, more independent, and learn about the world around them and the wider community. So we have the objectives, but now the key aspect, and in order to be successful with a proposal, is how are you measuring these objectives? So because the system is not intelligent enough to collect the data or keep a track of kids' performance, we were using like a manual form. So basically our stepping stone staff were recording manually their findings, but also a questionnaire for parents' carers was sent, or is actually, they keep sending periodically to receive feedback from parents about changes on behaviors on their children. So this autism pack breaks down the areas of difficulty, and you have actually 7 areas. Perhaps we will talk more about that later. But this can be utilized within an individual education plan or as part of a group of social skills learning. Then you will see that after the changes, we were more for the individual education plan than the groupal one. So we invited experts from University of Essex, academics, to give us feedback and guide us on how to measure, a project impact. And they were very clear that for this kind of project, we require a questionnaire and feedback from parents. We will talk more about the reasons why later. Because the autism spectrum is too wide, there is almost impossible to set a scientific control or observation in order to get a comparison between control measurements and the other measurements. And most importantly, we didn't have a control group because it was not ethical. So in order to have a control group, you need to have a group of autistic children that they will be observed, but they are not getting advantage of the technology. So they are not being, benefited on using this. So basically, there was no control group. That's why this kind of project is very difficult to measure, and you need to have different options in order to do like a combined assessment. For that reason, measurements are recorded individually, and you will see later specifically an example of the outputs from this project. Are recorded through this staff. The staff is doing the observation, but it is important that measurement is also done through direct feedback from parents, as I already mentioned. This is key, through specific questionnaires that they must complete. So we took advantage of stepping stones already platform or the way they used to assess their children. So stepping stone set learning goals for the children based on early years national foundations stage curriculum, and also special educational needs, that is called SEN national curriculum as well. So the staff applied the same methodology for monitoring, consisting in observation, recording, and documentation. So as an example, you can see from the early years national foundation, you can see that you have typical behaviors like within listening and attention, understanding, and speaking, and then you have the age when this typical behavior should be, shown. And this is used also for our project because they are already they have this platform in place, and we will talk about this a little bit more in detail. So the data collected is then analyzed and interpreted to support professional judgment. And the data is also used to plan interventions and next steps. And you will see why I'm mentioning next steps, because it's very important in the methodology they were using. So, and this is used to create an individual action plan. So we were very happy that they already stepping stone, they have the platform called Tapestry. So I will show you some screenshot from this platform, because not just for keeping the results documented, but also in order to share the information with parents. Of course, this is not shared with anybody else. With parents, they use this platform, and you can see that they can select who is the children. They have a title, so they need to put what the activity is, and they start populating this. So stepping stone staff choose the kind of assessment, okay, to be done. And then they choose the learning areas from the different color tabs here. And then they will choose with typical behaviors from the educational, the early years foundation, plan. So if you see, for instance, PSED means personal, social, and emotional development. CL is communication and language. PD, physical development. L, literacy. M, mathematics. UW, understanding the world. And EAD, expressive arts and design. So this is also a screenshot that is only for staff. So then what happened? So what is what is shared with parents? So this is an example. Of course, it's not related to our project, because this is an example they gave me in early stages to understand how this will be, used. So if you have an example, they have a child putting, his shoes on, and it was a very or an opportunity to record. So they have here a kind of notes. It's curious because they write this in first person, as they are writing this to the child, but this is for parents. So it's very curious, but it's funny. For instance, today you took your shoes off, so I asked you if you could put them back on again. You sat on the little bench and started trying to pull the shoe and go on. So if you see here, we have, so the early years foundation stage. In this case, we have personal, social, and emotional development, self-confidence, and self-awareness. And here you see when biologically this should happen. And this is very important because with autistic children, of course, their biological age is not matching their cognitive age. And that's why it's very important to have this information. You have other areas as communication and language, understanding, physical development, health and self-care. So project considerations, because the project, of course, involves volunteers, staff that they are working directly, with children. They are interacting directly with children. They need to have an enhanced DBS check. This is disclosure and barring service. So this just to ensure that people working with children, they don't have like a, criminal history, things like that. So this is not an issue for us because all the stepping stone staff, they must do this, I think, every 6 months or yearly. But so this is completely covered, and even ourselves, we did it. So it's very clear that we are compliant. Also, we need to follow the IEEE guidelines for working with children and IEEE principle of business conduct, that this is a must in every project we do with IEEE. And in this case, because we are here in Europe, we need also to be compliant with the general data protection regulations. So we need to ensure that the collection and storage of information remains GDPR compliant. So what we did was a data privacy impact assessment. So that was carried out, and the parents and carers signed a declaration form to say that they are happy okay, for a stepping stone to store and record their child's progress information. And important, all project results and the ones I will show as well, they have been anonymized. Okay, so we had our happy day in October when we received the grant. So the proposal was sent in September 2019, and then in October we received the very good news. So all UK and Ireland side group was very happy. First project for us, and basically we just moved to in order to buy we purchased the equipment as fast as we could, and immediately the equipment was manufactured, and we had the installation in December the 20th, that the same year, 2019. So you can see this is the projector on the ceiling, and after the equipment installation, we were just counting days to start. So we did the kickoff meeting in January 2020. We had the from Stepping Stone, the authorities from Stepping Stone. Also, our site group was there. Was with that at that moment the section chair Mona, and also we invited. We had a special guest from University of Essex, and we had a professor of psychology, a research fellow in cognitive science, and a senior research in neuroscience, artificial intelligence, biomedical engineering, and neuroelectronics. So they were with us. We shared with them what is all this about. We made very clear that we were requesting to the academics from the University of Essex help in order to ensure that all the outputs are correctly measured. Even we wanted to have KPIs. So we discuss all these potential guidance and collaboration. Okay. And we agreed to have a follow-up meeting at University of Essex with a wider group. And of course, we did a demonstration to them because the equipment was already installed. So we showed them how the equipment basically worked. So after this, we immediately arranged the meeting at University of Essex that happened 4th of February 2020. And we had members from computer science and electronic engineering department and psychology department as well. So of course we requested their support to demonstrate that the platform does have an effect on children's behavior, and they agreed to guide us, to ensure that the impact of the project is measured. And also they explain again that the best way to do it is via these questionnaires, and they explain also what I mentioned earlier about the ethical implication of a control group, that is almost impossible to do a scientific measurement for this project, and then we need to do as best as we can within the constraints that we have. So at this point, we were just ready. So we were waiting for the training for the stepping stone staff that was part of the package we purchased. So the training session happened in February 19th, and stepping stone staff, they learn how the system works, the content of the applications, advanced functions, and best practices. We noticed that the personnel from OM Interactive, they have a deep knowledge about autism. That was very pleased that we just checked that they knew what they were telling us. And so basically they explain the 7 key areas of need for children, and how these areas are materialized on the over 200 apps that they made for autistic kids. And of course, after the session, the training was completed, the staff had the opportunity to explore the equipment in depth and put the information learning to practice, because until that point, we were just using the equipment as best as we can without having the proper knowledge. We were perhaps doing we weren't using the equipment at the maximum capacity, if that is the sentence you allow me. So at this point, we were thinking, fantastic, this project is running smoothly. I mean, I was very happy. Everything was on track. So we were just enjoying it. And suddenly COVID, COVID came. So after the pandemic, okay, was declared, that was in March 2020, of course, the charity, as the rest of the world, stopped working and the premises were closed. So when the nursery reopened, and this happened twice because we had 2 times the lockdowns, if you remember. So after they reopened, it was necessary to adjust the use of an assessment of the solution from a group scenario that was initially ideal for us, with different age groups, to individual use, okay, by children, and with only staff input to analyze results. And this is what we did, and this is part of any project. Things happen and we need to adapt. So Stepping Stone staff continue to make observations on the impact of using the combined projector and autism suite on the children's learning. For the purpose of analyzing project results, anonymized data was linked to children's one-plan targets. And I will show you an example soon, very soon. Okay, so other changes. So Stepping Stone staff managed to link the use of the projector to some children's anonymized one-plan targets, as I mentioned, and they made observation on the impact that the projector is having on the children's learning. And the staff were able to record a number of cases of studies based on the methodology that we already have discussed. And I think they did a great job, to be honest, because they were working, using face mask, applying social distances. And when you need to do this with children with special needs, wow. I mean, I don't have words to Stepping Stone staff commitment, because they did very well, very well. So this is one of the examples, okay? This is how we show results for the project. So at the end, we have documents that they show, for instance, child E. Let's just read a little bit just to have an idea. Child E, only Stepping Stone knows who is child E, of course, is motivated by technology-oriented activities, game, a small group of children, and one adult participated in the Berry Bars program. Child E was eager to explore, but needed constant reminding to wait his turn and not to overpower the other children. He needed support and encouragement to stay engaged, as he found it difficult to maintain concentration if it was not his turn or if another child took too long. And things like this. So every time they observe, they record observation after the session is finished. So they said which ones are the next steps. So you have next steps, then a new section, then next steps, then a new section. And I highlighted one output if we want to check an example. So if we see at the end of this slide, so we feel child E has really benefited from using the interactive projector, as this is something that motivates him to follow an adult agenda and to interact with a small group of peers. This has enabled him to form the foundations of friendship and turn-taking, which would not have interested him before. And we feel very pleased that we are really making a difference with the projector. So he is starting to trust what an adult says, and therefore is more willing to listen. Therefore, the activity becomes a more positive experience for him. So through these outputs, we measured results as best as we could, considering all the situation that I explained. So we have other examples. I want. So projects outputs and contribution to long-term outcomes. Okay, this is a table. I just try to summarize something to give you like a feel, because it can be very extensive. But project goals stimulate areas of learning for children with processing difficulties. Project outputs engage with autistic children through non-invasive interaction, enable them to respond to learning programs at a level they feel comfortable with. And if you see what the output, the example was, is more or less in aligned with this. Yeah. So short-term outcomes reduce the lack of occupational therapy and speech and language therapy in Colchester and nearby neighborhoods. Colchester is where exactly the charity is located, but it's part of Essex and very near to Jawick, that is the most deprived area in England. Mid-term outcomes, extrapolation of this initiative to similar centers, schools with special needs within Essex. And then what we aim as a long-term outcomes, as after data have been collected, results measured and monitored, that we have enough evidence to provide to authorities. We want to influence NHS Essex to include this technology in their centers and make it available for everyone around the county. And why not in a future, national wide, so that can be also part of the long-term outcomes. So lesson learned. No matter how well project risks have been identified and controlled, you should expect the unexpected. And basically this happens, so you need to fill a form with risks and how you will control those risks. So we were thinking, what happened if the charity stop receiving funding or donation and they need to close? But no, it doesn't matter how much risk we put on that assessment. Nobody was, expecting that COVID will arrive and change everything. The involvement and collaboration of key community representatives during the planning stage of the project is key to success, of course, and getting stepping stone staff involved and well informed at the stage, at all stages, was crucial, because at the end, the staff, they are the ones doing it, the job. So you need to get them very commitment and very well communicated, and they need to feel that they are part of the project. And I think we did it well with that. Developed a strong proposal, pay attention to each section and ensure all questions are well addressed. There are a lot of questions when you are filling the proposal, and pay attention. So they are there for a reason. Don't subestimate any question. So have a thinking, work as a team, and address every question as best as you can. Think big, think big budget wise, but be prepared to reduce the project scope if required. This is what happened to us. In the end, we had half budget, but we were happy at the end with the results. Keep records of milestone dates, stakeholders' names, take photos during meetings, sessions, so you can document and share project progress with site, your section, and the general public. And that's why I'm delivering this presentation and having all these photos and videos. And I mean, it's very important that, and we know when things happen, names, so it's a good tip for future projects. And finally, pay special attention to how the project impact is measured. I think we have, talked about this along the whole presentation. Ask for help if required, as we did. You don't need to know everything. You just need to be with the people who knows, and that is very important. And project results must be measured. If the results are not measured, the project cannot be replicated or scaled. That's why the importance to how the project impact is measured.